What's going on, guys? Welcome back to 100% Chelsea and welcome to your sofa review of Chelsea 5, Huddersfield 0. I'm joined by Lewis and I'm joined by Scott, and this is where we dissect the game in even further detail the day afterwards. And it's not a new bit of content, but it's something we decided to bring back because it's something we enjoyed doing. We know you guys enjoyed it as well. So, gentlemen, Chelsea 5, Huddersfield 0. City versus Arsenal on in the background for people if they're interested in our reactions, because we're kind of gauging and analysing and enjoying the football.
Yeah.
Lads, the thoughts on the game yesterday? Overhyped or, good day in the office, we move on?
I don't really think it's been that overhyped, because I think for most Chelsea fans there has been that understanding that it's Huddersfield. But there's been a bit, I think if people are overhyping, I think it's only because we lost 4-0 the game before to Bournemouth.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I think that is the case. I think we definitely needed to come back, and we were saying we wanted to be more emphatic. We wanted something to really prove a point, and then we went and did that again by winning 5-0. But I mean, you've got Huddersfield's previous 5 games.
Yeah, so I think it's a good result, but I think it's a step in the right direction. But we've got to kind of hold it a little bit because it's Huddersfield. They haven't won a game for nearly 4 months. It was November 5th was the last time they won a game. That was against Fulham, and it was only 1-0. And since then, I had a little look. They've only scored 4. No, sorry, I think they've only scored 5 or 6, and they've conceded 22. So, and that was before they played us. So it's now 27. So we shouldn't have expected too much. Obviously, I know they've got a new manager, but it's still, they haven't really got anything particular going forward defensively. Apart from Jorgensen, I don't think they've really got anything at the back. So I think it's a good result, but it's something we need to kind of maybe not go too mental about.
Yeah.
But as I said, it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, completely. I mean, you've got the stats from yesterday's game. We had now obviously with the big thing we were talking about, and I like to talk about, is possession stats and how much they're bollocks, and it only matters what you do with it. We had 65% of the ball, 7 shots on targets, 5 of which that went in. That is a game where you say possession rules, blah blah blah. That shows that we did something with it. I
think there's another stat just underneath that kind of, it's a bit more telling as well. We had 23 shots. I don't know how in terms of other games some we've had, but that seems quite high for us. And although obviously there's only 7 on target, it's at least showing we are willing to shoot.
Yeah.
You saw Hudson-Odoi had a chance when he came on later. He had one. Willian had a very similar chance on the right hand side as opposed to when Hudson-Odoi is on the left. Higuain's goal, obviously. You had Barkley taking a couple of shots from distance. Yesterday it seemed like we were willing to shoot a lot more, which I think is a good sign.
I agree, and I mean obviously this segues quite nicely into Gonzalo Higuain, Hazard, and Maurizio Sarri. Now Sarri's came out after the press conference and said that he feels that Eden Hazard and Gonzalo Higuain are suitable to play with each other. And obviously they both scored twice yesterday. And another interesting stat, I think this is in 37 games.
It's 37 games, 37 league goals.
38 goals.
37.
38.
I thought it was 37.
38.
Fair enough. Under Sarri for Gonzalo Higuain. What were your thoughts on his first game not first game in a Chelsea shirt, but his first proper showing, I guess, in terms of what he's capable of in a Chelsea shirt?
I think we were talking earlier about whether this game was overhyped or not. I think if fans think this game has been overhyped, it's because we were able to find Higuain today. And one of the biggest problems against Bournemouth was that Higuain was constantly making runs and no one was finding the ball through to him. We were finding him a lot more, and he got 2 goals based off that. I think it's a case of excitement, because we've seen with Alvaro Morata in the striker situation over the last 18 months has been terrible. We've got a striker with a proven track record, and it's Huddersfield, but he's still bagged in 2 goals and shown brilliant link-up play with Eden Hazard. That will excite any Chelsea fan.
Exactly, and I think that's something which we should be very careful of. I mean, obviously the next game coming up is Manchester City. Yeah. We are going to be doing a cypher preview for that as well. Much like we did yesterday, we're going to be doing it on the road. We're going to be doing opposition preview. We're going to be doing all that lovely stuff which you guys really enjoy. Higuain, again, became the first Chelsea player to score twice in their home league debut for the club since Mario Stanic versus West Ham in August 2000.
I think you mentioned Morata. I think something that's quite telling that I've got up here is that the most... So this is Eden Hazard and Higuain linking up. The most link-up that Hazard and Morata have had was 9. In one game, Higuain nearly tripled that. He got 21 yesterday.
Jesus. Wow. Okay.
That's 6 more than Giroud ever got with Hazard. And we used to rave, or people have raved about how good their link-up play was when they played together. So I think that's an indictment of how well they're gelling together and playing together.
Well, I mean, speaking of link-ups with other players, and this is a stat which has gone completely under the radar, Kante provided 2 assists in a single game match the first time in his top-flight career yesterday, and people are talking about him playing. He was probably playing deeper yesterday, or he was doing this stuff. That was bollocks. The guy was way up the pitch. He was. He's even out wide on some occasions, crossing balls and playing really well. The fact he's got 2 assists for the first time in his career in the top flight. The first one of which was, I think.
I'm so annoyed. I missed it twice.
I think fucking Iniesta will be proud of that. That's because you might need to squeeze in a bit, mate, because you're getting a bit out of shot a little bit. Come cuddle. Come on, you come cuddle as well. There we go. Nice and tight, lads. But I think it's even Iniesta and proud of that. I love a little scoop pass on the outside of his left boot. N'Golo Kante settled in that position. I think, we're now talking about progress in other players as well. I mean, a few weeks ago, Mauricio Sarri was talking about the fact that, he's now worked on Kante. Kante's now ready. He now needs to work on Ross Barkley. Ross Barkley seems to obviously be settled, but with him, I feel that yesterday's was the opportunity that we see from him a lot, but it's a once in a blue moon kind of opportunity, which we're not going to see all the time from him.
I think with Ross Barkley, I think with a lot of players, what fans want to see first is consistency, and with Ross Barkley, there just hasn't been enough from the time he's joined us. Yeah. And moving on, when it comes to N'Golo Kante, Sarri's developed him really well, and I think there's been a lot of criticism for Sarri over the entire season, and a lot of people also come out and said that Kante isn't being played in his right position. Kante, in my opinion, is being played in his right position, and if anything, he's adapting even better to his roles. Yeah. People are saying, but he's having less interceptions than Torreira. Just understand that we have more possession of the ball. So if you have more possession of the ball, how are you meant to be intercepting the ball?
Sorry to interrupt, that was incredible.
Oh, by the way, Arsenal are losing.
That was incredible.
Great goal by Aguero.
What was it? I missed it.
Oh, that ball from whoever that was. I think it was Sterling.
I saw it. Oh. If you like this as well, where I literally reacted to a game as it goes on in front of us as well while we do this. I mean, that is a big point as well. The fact you have more possessions, there is going to be less interceptions. That's logical.
Yeah, but it's just an understanding of the football. And in my opinion, Maurizio Sarri,
he was offside.
No, he wasn't.
He was off.
Sterling was.
Aguero was offside. No, he wasn't. I was focusing on Aguero. Okay. Jesus, sorry. No, but yeah, we got more possession.
This is the thing that I have tried to do more, because one of the things I've noticed is that I completely get Maurizio Sarri understands the game more than me. Yeah. So if I don't understand it, and also with the idea that this is a defensive team that is trying to turn into a more attacking team, the fact that it's going to take time means he needs to be given it, which is why I'm giving him that season. And with players like Kante, it's shown that if you give him the time, he will work his magic on those players.
And I think with Kante, that is the biggest thing for him. He's just a professional.
Exactly. Kante
is the most he's someone you'd love to have. He's our answer to James Milner. He's a guy who'll do absolutely anything. Massive pro. I think he's a superb little player as well. There's no doubt about that. But I mean, I think that analyses it. We're talking like that. But we've spoken about Eden Hazard and Gonzalo Higuain linking up. We spoke about N'Golo Kante. Let's just appreciate Eden Hazard quickly and talk about why the fuck people are comparing him and Son. I don't understand the comparisons and why they're even there.
I'll put it out there first of all. I think Son is an amazing player.
Agreed.
From when he was a Bayer Leverkusen, before that, I want to say Hamburg, I could be wrong, but when he was there and he was doing bits there, he's an amazing player. There's no doubt about it. Same with Martial, same with other players that play when Sanchez when he was at Arsenal, but there are certain players when they play that can just take the game in the palm of their hand and play it to however they like. And I'll admit he doesn't do it all the time. That is the one big criticism of Hazard. But when he does, my God.
Steps up. I mean, primary stats from yesterday: 77 minutes played, 47 accurate passes, 3 shots on target, 1 key pass, 2 times he was fouled, 2 long balls, 12 dribble attempts, 12 successful dribbles, 2 goals, and a 10 out of 10 match rating. Fucking phenomenal. So that stat comes from iChelsea tweets.
Yep. The key one there, the 12 successful dribbles out of 12, the most by a player in a Premier League game.
Exactly. This is what I was talking about with Eden Hazard. I think there were times in the game yesterday where I thought he was dropping remarkably deep. And considering his main attribute, which he's always criticised, is the fact that he doesn't track back, the fact that he's not really the player to be going up and down the pitch, which he isn't. I almost see him as, I mean, just speaking of that stat alone, if you watch Raheem Sterling during the World Cup, when people were saying he was being poor, he wasn't doing anything, he wasn't doing it right, if you watch what he was actually there to do and what his job was, his job was, it wasn't a creative player, it was almost a centre forward / number 10 that wasn't creative, but almost, it was a water boy.
It was almost like a false nine, but he had someone in front of him to play off with, if that makes sense.
Well, no, but he had a ball carrying option, and his job was to get the ball at the pitch. Now that links up very well with Gonzalo Higuain. You look at, for example, the players like Willian, who were the ones that should have been tracking back. Almost the style we ended up playing, because Huddersfield was so deep and were trying to keep their shape for the majority of the game. I mean, when it was 1 or 2-0, they did it really well to credit to Huddersfield. After 3-0, they just fell apart.
Yeah, it was when they went 4-4-2 there. The midfield was so open. I mean, they took Billing off, which I thought was a bit odd there. Bakuna and Moy, and it was just so open for our midfield to play.
Well, this is it. And I think it's kind of a case of, before that, they had the solidity. Hazard was having to drop deep and then having to get up the pitch, which is why, in my opinion, that's the reason it was only 2-0. Whereas as soon as you were given the opportunity just to stay up there and link up and carry the ball for Gonzalo Higuain and link up with him as well further up the pitch, where you'd have Willian dropping deeper, or you'd have Hudson-Odoi coming deeper, and you'd have almost, and then when we're on the attack, it was almost a 4-2-4 with Marcos Alonso on the left-hand side. Oh, sorry, 3-2. No, not 4. What am I talking about?
3-3-4.
It was, like a 3-3-4, I guess. Yeah, like a 3-3-4. Marcos Alonso would be bombing up on that left-hand side. It's kind of a case of he was given the freedom to do everything that he needed. And that, again, it was only Huddersfield. I'm not saying that it was an absolutely astounding feat what he did there, because I'm not going to lie, the way they were playing yesterday, a fantastic game would be expected from him. But the comparisons between him and Son in his career, there is no doubt that I looked at statistics, since he joined the Premier League in comparison to Hazard, he's only a few goals behind, he's only a few assists behind. For me, again, I base my thoughts on primary statistics. Son has delivered those for Tottenham. Yeah. However, Son is more of a striking option than Eden Hazard.
Son started out as a striker.
Yeah, Son started as a striker. He's more of that attacking presence, rather where Hazard is more a creative presence, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a case of, the one other thing to mention is Sanchez is better than Hazard. Ozil's better than Hazard. Martial's better than Hazard. Rashford's better than Hazard. Son's better than Hazard. Who's the one constant in that entire conversation?
Wasn't it Kagawa at one point as well?
Yeah, and who?
Kagawa.
Kagawa as well at one point was apparently better than Eden Hazard.
Did we say Salah too?
Salah's better than Eden Hazard. Oh, well, who's the one constant in that entire conversation? You see where we're coming from?
Let me just say it right now. Son isn't better than Hazard.
No, he's not.
Son ain't even the best player in his team, so I don't really know how that really matches up with him being the best player against the best player in our team.
I'd love to have Son at Chelsea.
And also, I could say that Son would be great at this club, but Son ain't better than Hazard. I'm just going to put that right there, and I'll just say as simple as, put your trophies on the table. If he's really that good, where are the trophies to back it up?
No, but don't. I had this conversation yesterday with Germax on Twitter. He was running his mouth, saying that that's all his team achievements, the FA Cups, the leagues, all that type of stuff. Fifth Ballon d'Or shortlist twice, 5th Pro 11, silver ball at the World Cup, Premier League Player of the Year 16-17, Young Player of the Year 14-15.
Team on every Premier League team of the season, bar 2, I think.
Yeah,
since he's joined Chelsea.
Jeez.
And one of them was a 15-16 season where he's being forced to play injured for half of it.
It's as simple as that. And that's a redundant conversation. But we'll move on. We'll let them have their little moment of glory. And obviously...
You can try get up to his level. Like, it's all for effort, but you ain't going to get there.
Yeah, it's true. But look, at the end of the day...
I feel he could if he was playing for a better team.
He was Son.
If he was playing for a top team,
he's just a shit He's a shit Lee Chong-Yong. Leave it out, all right?
And look at better ambition.
Yeah, true. It's a case of, we'll have to see how all that happens. But I mean, we got all of that. We got our system. We vented about that. We've gone through Eden Hazard. We've gone through N'Golo Kante. Mm-hmm. Let's talk a little bit about Gonzalo Higuain, because obviously we've been speaking about the link-up. We haven't actually fully analysed him
properly.
I'm not going to say he's the answer to all our problems.
Oh well, no, I'm not going to.
No, you just said you will. Go on, the floor is yours, mate.
Part of me wants to, but at the same time, as I said, it is Huddersfield. But for me, the argument I've had with a couple of people is that he's too old, he can't do it, he's not got the movement, he's not got the legs.
You just want to say who that person is, just save yourself.
Oh no, because it's been more than just him.
Okay.
There's been a couple of others as well, so that's why.
George, he's calling you out.
He said it. But if you look, as we spoke, if you look, his movement is fine. His movement is perfect in most cases. There are the odd times when he's not moving quite as much as you'd want, but let's not forget that he is 31. He's apparently got back problems, and he's apparently not match fit. And yet he's still making more movement than Giroud and Morata combined. He's still getting in areas, in pockets where he can get the ball in dangerous areas.
Well, there was, I think, the one where he should have got a hat-trick yesterday when Willian, because I watched it back, Willian was, I don't think he had a bad game yesterday, but there was that chance where he tried to curl it with his left foot. When he could have literally,
I didn't really see what happened
in the pocket, so I was watching the whole game back last night. There was a pocket when he took the opportunity where Higuain had got himself in between three Huddersfield players. And I'm talking, everyone bangs on about the defensive triangles and making sure you got the right shape and all this type of stuff. Gonzalo Higuain was right in the middle of that triangle, and it was literally one square ball from Willian, and that would have been the third goal for him.
That's what I like about him, because he plays in bursts.
Yeah.
And the thing is, so does Giroud, but Higuain is a lot quicker, and in my opinion, the movement's just 10 times better. Like, I keep going back to the Bournemouth game, and I get that we lost 4-0, but that entire first half, the guy was making so many good runs, and nobody was finding him. That's what he has. And the thing is, those are the sort of traits that don't go away with age. He relies on his strength. He relies on those quick bursts of pace. So I feel like if we keep him off those 6 months, he could still be a bit useful for a couple of seasons after.
100%.
I was going to say, you talk about that Bournemouth game, even though there were many times that he wasn't found, going back to that stat I said about the 21 times he was found against Huddersfield, he was still found 14 times by Hazard in that Bournemouth game, which is the third most this season.
But how many centre backs are on him? Because remember,
that's what I'm saying. He's getting the ball, even when he's not getting the ball a lot in the game, he's still linking up play.
No, but when you talk about Bournemouth and why it didn't work, Bournemouth, the whole team was off. So it's a case of Higuain can make those runs. If no one else is supporting him or making runs as well, you just need to stick 2 people on Higuain and that's it.
And this segues perfectly into what we're all worried about in terms of Chelsea. We could just insert the Gennaro Gattuso meme right here, basically.
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
Yeah, it's just pretty much a case of that answers Chelsea form chart. We play an amazing game against Manchester City, lose 1-0 to Leicester, play shit against Arsenal, beat Spurs really well in the Cup, go on a couple of decent wins, or a decent win, and then collapse to Bournemouth 4-0 at home, then come back and batter Huddersfield 5-0, even though Huddersfield are bottom of the league. Look, they are still a Premier League team.
You only got to be what's in front of you.
Exactly. We now go up against Manchester City. Right now, they're beating Arsenal 2-1. They're looking very good. They've got plan A, B, C, D, all the way through to Z, and then they started going into the Cantonese alphabet because there's not enough in the English one. What are your thoughts on the game for us against Manchester City? Who's players that you consider? Obviously, we're going to be doing a sit-down match preview for that as well. But who are the players that you would consider as the best options for us to really see coming to that side? Do you think Emerson's going to come back in, or do you think you keep Alonso? Do you think Pedro or Willian, Hudson-Odoi even come into the conversation for that right mid spot? How looking forward to this game? What are you lads feeling?
I don't know, because we beat Man City using a false 9, and we're not going to do that on Sunday. That's the thing. It's kind of throwing a bit of a curveball into it. If you want to beat City, you've got to go out and you've got to actually try and take the game to them, because if you sit deep, they're just going to tear us apart within 90 minutes. Sooner or later, they'll get the first goal and then we'll fall apart. So we got to take the game to them, and we have to make every chance that we have count. We need players to actually be making those runs. Players need to stick to the system, because if we don't stick to the system, there's no way we're winning it.
No, I agree. I think we really need to focus up on that and really have the right options, and we need to focus on the system to use. That we've spoken about Gonzalo Higuain, his movement, his snapshots as well. We didn't even bring in those instinctive shooting opportunities. That is something which we're going to really need to rely on, I feel, in this game, because we are not going to have, even though we are a possession-based team, that Manchester City game, we didn't have a lot of the ball, and I thought that's where we played our best game this season, where we almost went with our instincts. And I think those snapshot opportunities to Gonzalo Higuain are going to be absolutely massive for us in that game. Considering what we're going to be playing with, and we're going to be up against Scott. Who's your 11 for that game?
I think it should be the 11 that started at Bournemouth. As weird as that makes sense, apart from Kovacic, and
Who would you put in instead of Kovacic?
I don't know. My heart wants to say Loftus-Cheek, but I don't think he will play. Personally, I feel like Barkley will play, but apart from that, I'd play the same. And the only reason I say that is because, for me, although as you said, he didn't have necessarily a bad game, but Willian didn't have a brilliant game. He's a bit average. Didn't really have a lot of impact on the game. Didn't do anything necessarily poor, apart from obviously you could have possibly gone at the end, but didn't do anything necessarily poor, but didn't really have an impact. And for me, Alonso's still too slow. And you saw against Diakabe, who's not a world beater. He's like 20, 21, something like that. And he was beating him almost every single time. We're coming up against one on that side, Sterling, Sane or Silva, Bernardo Silva. And that worries me. And I know Emerson had a poor game, but the whole team did against Bournemouth. So I feel like just because he's got a bit more pace, we should play Emerson. Because if we don't, I can see that becoming a problem.
Okay, Luke? Who would you slot? Mate, you're getting out of shot.
Oh,
come on.
Right.
Starting
lineup, obviously Kepa in goal. Back four, I think, would stay... Yep, Kepa, keep forgetting.
I forgot to say Rudy instead of Christensen, personally. I think if he's fit, he should come back in.
He should as well, I agree.
Yeah, for me, Rudiger's more of a big game player, so I definitely would put him in there. I think only real switch I'd do is probably... I'd switch Emerson for Alonso because we need a player that can cover spaces a lot quicker. We need Loftus-Cheek starting because we need a midfielder that will shoot from range and will actually
drive.
Yeah, Ruben Loftus-Cheek is an attacking threat, and he's probably the most attacking threat out of all the midfielders we have.
Yeah.
And going forward, I think we could do Pedro's off the ball movement, so I'd pick him over William. Other than that, more or less the same lineup.
Yeah, I completely agree. So I think obviously we're going to be doing a predicted 11. We'll do a pre-match preview, opposition previews, Lawrence's preview on the road. Got a lot of stuff coming for you guys, so obviously stay tuned. Hope you enjoy that. And Sad Boss's Corner will be back this week as well. Is there anything we've missed, lads, that you want to touch on? Are we all good? Happy with that?
I'm good.
Cool.
I'm happy.
Wow. Right. Lewis got to go to work, so he's got to go. Me and Scott have got to get this edited and get everything else sorted and get the plan in place for this week's content. But guys, obviously this is your final review for Chelsea 5, Huddersfield 0. Chelsea currently sitting 4th in the Premier League, 4 points behind Manchester City and 2 points above Manchester United, who obviously went and beat Leicester today. I think it was only 1-0. Yeah, it was 1-0. Great goal from Rashford, great assist from Paul Popper as well. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. Make sure to subscribe to us on Chelsea. All social media down in the description: Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, and Instagram. We are. Oh, someone's just unsubbed. That really hurts my feelings.
155.
155 subs.
Dickhead.
155 subs away from 80,000 subscribers. So we'd really appreciate if you subscribe and help us hit that target before the end of the weekend. That'd be really, really helpful, and we'd absolutely love that from you guys. Like we said, we're going through a massive rebrand. We're getting everything ready for you guys. We are going to kick on, and we're really going to make this channel so much better than it already is with the help of these two wonderful gentlemen.
There's an elephant for a sec.
I'm the elephant, let's be honest. All these two wonderful gentlemen, and obviously everyone else part of the team. Dom, you've got Talika as well, Lewis's girlfriend, helps out a lot. You've got Jordan, you've got Cameron, you've got some fantastic people, Lawrence as well. But yeah, we'll move on. We'll leave it from there. Make sure to subscribe. Thank you very much. We'll see you later. Ta-ra.